All right.
I've been having some Facebook, Zoom interactions.
It's because everybody's doing it. That's why. When you first started doing it, you were one of few people who was doing it that regularly. Now everybody wants to put on their guitar. They want to have their family meetings, their church meetings, their recovery group.
Bullshit. We don't need recovery.
Wait a minute.
We don't need any
I'll tell you, if I was in recovery, I don't know if I could survive this time without some occasional drinking.
No. All right, so I'll tell you how many we got, and then we'll go. All right, Live City, baby. All right, we have Bill, I think you've got the most suggestions. We have 45.
Wow. We're going to use all of them?
Yes, we're going to use. There were a couple that I'm like, I should just grab these because they were so good. So many great ones. So pick a number between 1 and 45.
I'll pick a number between 1 and 45. Let me say 16.
Oh, I was like, I hope you say 1 because now.
Yes, for production purposes, I could have said a short one, but I want to point out the folly in your 1 and 45 theory.
7, 8, 9, 10.
Because you could have said 5, and then I'll count by 5s, and we'll get to it that way. But you're stuck with this.
Well, we're stuck with the suggestion, which I think we're both gonna really love because we love suggestions. It comes from Rick, and it is Time Flies.
Time flies.
Woo! I should go.
Please don't.
I mean, I looked right now, and it's been 3 hours, and I should get home.
It's been 3 hours, but we barely gotten through like part of your college years.
I know, and I'm like, I'm having such a good time, but
tell me about Red again. Tell me about Red.
All right, well,
he seems like he was a cut up.
Red was he was Irish, and so we called him Red. His last name was Cross, so his parents named him Red Cross. I mean, so I think he was destined for a life of just being hilarious. And he walked around with a fedora and a cape, and he would always walk around going, "It is Monday," and we thought that was the funniest thing. And so he became one of my best
positive.
friends. Yeah, Red Cross.
Yeah. Oh, positive.
I should go though. I mean,
there's something for you that's more important than what we've had here.
Yeah.
We've had a lot. We've shared a lot.
Yeah.
This has been 3 hours of guy talk and stories.
Yeah. Okay. I could stay a little bit longer.
Good.
I mean,
good.
I feel like I've been talking a lot.
Sure. I could tell you about my glory days in the a cappella choir.
Yes, please. Let me just send a message real quick to my wife. I'll just message her.
How about if you do that after I tell you about my senior tour?
Okay. All right. I'll hear your tour. I'll message her, and then we'll get right back into it. So yeah, go ahead.
So, and when I was in the choir, we would always have to be in these uniforms, and they looked ridiculous because we had like a furry, fluffy collar that looked like a 1970s tuxedo, but if you're a werewolf.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And we would all walk arm in arm, and people would think that we were maybe a group of runaway werewolves, which wasn't the case. We were friends, out to perform together, and just look at us. Almost like you and I.
Oh, that is a great story. That's a really good story. I'm just gonna real quick text. I'm gonna let my wife know.
Well, yeah, you said you were gonna text your wife afterwards to let her know it's gonna be a lot longer.
Yeah. I you know what? It will be. Let me just send her a message real quick. By the way, you've done a lot with this garage. Like when I said you could live here, I just thought it'd be temporary, but it looks like a home.
It feels like a home.
Yeah.
Especially when you're in it. It feels like I have a brother and you're here in your mind.
Well, I've always considered you my brother. That's why I'd say I'd do anything for you.
Wow.
I texted her. All right, so I told her, don't wait up. Don't wait up, because Tom and I are doing some guy talk in the once man cave, now the Tom cave. This is the Tom cave.
It is. Welcome. You're like my Robin.
Oh, thank you, Batman.
You're my sidekick, and I'm in charge.
Yes. Are you sad?
I've got nowhere else to go. Of course I'm sad.
It doesn't mean you're a failure just because that relationship ended.
I'm living in a place that I call a cave.
But it's...
I pull you away from your family and your friends just for this.
If I didn't want to be here, I wouldn't come.
Before you finish that heartfelt statement, would you mind putting on this Robin mask?
I would not mind at all. Listen.
I'm able to take you a lot more seriously that way. Go ahead.
You always have a place here. It doesn't matter anything that's happening. I don't care. This is now your cave. This is your place now, okay?
It feels that way finally.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, we haven't seen each other. It's been a few years. And I was missing this. I was missing talking to you. I mean, you blink and then 4 years goes by and it's like, where did that time go?
It flew.
It flew. Time flew, man. Is it bad? I feel like selfishly a little happy that at least now we're going to spend some time together. Is that a bad thing?
It's okay to be selfish.
Okay.
When it's you.
Okay. Yeah.
Here's your tights.
Thank you.
Go ahead. People ask me questions all the time.
I got a question I want to ask you, but I feel silly doing it, but I want to do it.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't. Go ahead. Get into those tights and give me an honest question.
Hang on. Ow.
Sorry about those Legos.
Ow. 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 If the situation was reversed, and if, Carolyn and I broke up, and you had a garage, would you let me live there?
I'd let you live in the master bedroom.
I think you only get a few friends in your life, at the most. And you have a lot of acquaintances in your life, but then you have friends, people you can rely on, people you can trust. And I feel like you're one of those friends.
Well, I feel like you are too. That's why I feel safe in this cave. I feel safe knowing I'm in a place I'll never have to leave.
Yeah. I don't feel like you ever have to leave. Don't feel like you ever have to rush
won't.
out. Yeah. When I'm with you, it's like we just pick up right where we left off.
That's right.
I got one more crazy, honest question I want to ask you.
Sure. Take the batarang. Let me know all about it.
We're all dressed up. You want to go fight some crime?
I've never wanted to more than in my life right now.
Great. Get into my chopper.
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Hang on tight. We're going for a ride. How's the weather?
Pretty chilly. How's the crime?
It's going down.
Let's take them down now.
You are surrounded. I repeat, come out with your hands up. You're surrounded by Batman
and Robin.
Hey, it's good to be back.
It's good to be front.
Scene.
All right. I wasn't sure how close we were to 10 or how tight you were keeping it.
I look for it around 10, but
always keep it tight for me.
Now, you're probably the guy I've improvised the most with in my life.
Yes. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing the other day.
I mean, I think it's like we started 25 years ago, so half my life, man. We've been doing, and before that, we did comedy sports together. So I think, like in the scheme of amount of scenes or stage time, you're it, dude.
Yeah, right back at you.
I mean,
Dave Cox, I think, coming in a very close second.
Well, you also do a lot of magic with Dave too. You've got.
We did that, and we did opening night, the improvised musical.
Yeah.
So that was a long run. So I think you come first because there was none other before you.
Nor
in terms of long-term improv partners, I think Dave's right up there with you.
Now you're doing a lot of like live drives. You do them twice a day?
Yeah, I do. Well, most every day, twice a day, 8 a.m., 2 p.m. Pacific time. I do coffee and conversation in the mornings. And then at 2 p.m. Pacific time, I bust out characters, and usually heavily relying on action and suggestions from people watching, experimenting with bringing people on camera. And it's a really fun experience. And yeah, it's a lot of time online, as you are spending, I see.
Well, I watch you and I'm like, you're doing solo stuff. Like you're interacting.
It's not really solo. I couldn't do it without the audience interaction. I've tried to do some of them where it's just me like riffing, and it's not as fun. I don't feel that adrenaline rush.
Yeah.
And it's all that's why when improvisers watch, and a good portion of the people who tune into the live jive are improvisers. Some of them just because they know me and to watch, but other people like yourself come and give my characters a little attitude, or push them in the right or wrong direction. I love it. And that's when it becomes even more so. So it's the lowest tech way to do something that it really is interactive.
Yeah, and you're doing like when you go out there and you do the afternoon ones, it's like you play a couple different characters too, and you're having people. It's so funny. I watch sometimes, and I think people enjoy watching you so much that they forget to add suggestions. So sometimes you're like,
yeah,
all right, come on, I need your help, your audience. Throw me something.
Sometimes I harangue the audience into giving suggestions.
And you're doing you do some online comedy sports shows too, where you're doing like comedy sports.
Yeah.
Short form. There's cities all around the world now doing comedy sports, but you're doing like online matches between different cities.
Yes, the other day I played in an online match for St. Louis versus Chicago, and then I played for LA versus Philly. So 24 different cities or so all around the United States and the United Kingdom are getting a chance to play and interact, and it's just so fun. And there's been an interesting growth of what exercises work and what works online in that format, that if it were just one city trying to share that knowledge, it'd be a long time. But there's been an exponential growth with that happening, all over. People saying, hey, and that happens in all different improv communities now that we're all gathered in this international way. Via social networking, but it's been fun to watch it happen and have like instant solutions come to problems that different cities have had.
People, you know, it's funny, people have been talking about like, ooh, we could finally use like props and costumes in online. And it's like, man, we've been doing that for years. We used to use wigs and costumes and props all the time. And that was the fun of it, is like, well, when in doubt, just throw a wig on and then let that carry you through the scene.
Exactly. It's a new form of accessing that whole mask thing that people have been wanting to get back to, the origins of improv. And now it's like, oh, it's been sitting in my bedroom all along. You can pick up anything. I'm sure that's not in everybody's bedroom, but you never know what you can find in your bedroom that'll make everything more exciting.
New choice.
See?
There's a fun one we did. I learned, yes. There was a really fun warm-up that was like, all right, sit down. Listen, we went through your bag. And can you tell us what we found, what this is? And then you have to justify it. And it's actual things from your desk that you're just holding up.
Oh, I like that.
It's really fun. And then I added a second phase of like, you're a robot companion. And you go, Bill, what is this? But you have to come up with something different than what it actually is.
I like that. That just reminded me of a game, and that's the physicality of it. And there's also a verbal version of that same thing that I guess I had heard about, but it said, well, what practicality does that have on stage? Called Acronym Panel, a comedy sports game where you have 3 different characters, and, you know, they may be from a period in time or a specific character or whatever their character trait is. And then you ask them an acronym, and they have to tell you what that acronym stands for to them. Like, you know, a CD, to people of your and my age, we think of as compact disc. A banker might think of it as a certificate of deposit, but a Greek god might call it compact discus.
Oh, that's cool.
You know? Yeah, or what I meant to say is contact discus, because that could be like, you know, they're throwing it at one another. Anyway, and so that's a great way to bring more characters into any sort of scene work, but especially that game, and also the verbal aspect. And looking at things from a different angle, and you know, you never know what's going to happen. Here's a little bit of what I had missed in the first week or so of online improv was everybody finding out, oh, we can't do that part of improv anymore. And then in almost less than a week past that time, people had discovered new ways of doing the things that they couldn't do just a week before. Yep. And that's been a fun evolution too.
I think it's
playing that game and another game called Right Hand Randy, Left Hand Larry has brought some of the, I'll explain that to you in a minute if you want to hear it, has brought some of the passion and that adrenaline rush that you get where you're like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to say next. Because people have already spent enough time in Zoom outside of improv, not knowing what they're going to say next. So some of that anxiety isn't there anymore, which is awesome. It'll serve them outside of our sequestered world. But so the game Right Hand Randy, Left Hand Larry is you just get a category, kind of like the game Thunderdome, only everybody's playing at the same time. And a referee, if it's a comedy sports match, or a host, calls out the people's names, and they have to say something in that category. And if they can't come up with one or they repeat, their right hand goes up. And if they keep on going through and they can't come up with a second one, their left hand goes up and they're out, but they still are there. And they go through the rest of the game. And what sucks is your arms are up like that and they start to hurt if the players are really good. If not, you have this adrenaline surge of, ooh, it's coming right back at me. It's really fun.
Oh, that's really cool. And it is interesting, those moments in shows where you're like you're playing slideshow or a game where you have to stay frozen. And you're like, I'm going to make this move where I've got my hands up like this. And then about 30 seconds later, your hands start to shake. I've done so many, you know what this church scene needs is Jesus on the cross. And I'll go out there and it's like, oh, Jesus is coming to life now. He can't keep his arms up.
And then somebody trying to earn their bones as an improviser comes up behind you and goes, aha, I'm going to support him because this must be painful. And they realize double pain because now they've got weight on top of trying to hold it up there. Oh, you rookie. Never support a move like a Jesus in a scene. There's no reason to ever support Jesus in an improv scene Or I'm just kidding. No. Welcome Jesus into your life. But there's no need to support Jesus. He carried that cross to Calvary himself.
Amen. Praise God.
Amen.
Hallelujah. You're teaching online now, like in addition to performing. You're teaching classes and workshops.
Yes, we've been doing some test classes, and I'm finding out what's working for me. Of course, I'm sure you've discovered this. It's difficult length of classes.
Yeah.
Because the eye strain on people and the energies drain of it all. I feel like the character Colin in What We Do in the Shadows when I host an online improv class. It's good to see you all here. You know, improv started in the 50s, which was an interesting time in and of itself. But
2 hours. 2 hours max.
That?
2 hours max for class.
Yeah, and that's max. I think I'm more inclined to do a 1 hour or 90 minute. And then number of students. There's a big discussion about how many students in a class it makes sense to do. And that varies from teacher to teacher. How do people handle that? What is the format of their class even? And so it's all those things I've been kind of taking into consideration before rolling out the first classes, which are going to be within the next week or so that I'm back to doing beginners, regular introductory classes at Improv Trick. So if anybody wants to find out about that, they can join us from wherever they are at theimprovtrick.com.
And you have to, Bill, you got to start looking to a time where you're like, oh, I have a group of people. Like I was talking to a friend, we did a scene today, he's in India, and like they are like, I think it's like 11 and a half hour difference. So then you go, okay, what time, when is most beneficial to offer these classes? Because it's no longer like, okay, 5 to 7 p.m. at night. It's like you might be doing it in the morning or an afternoon class. And really now people have the opportunity to take classes from anyone that they want anywhere in the world. So
yes.
I think it's like trial and error. You just go, okay, I'll offer one at 9 a.m. on a Friday. I'll offer one at 3 p.m. on a Wednesday, just seeing when people want to take it. But now's the time to take it from so many people. Like this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, and people can support those improv schools and those teachers who are offering those classes in a way that they've never been able to before. So,
so the best, you do the live jive, and that's on your Facebook page, right? People can see it there.
Live jive is always on my Facebook page, so people want to follow me, they can just follow Bill Chott on Facebook. It's the Facebook address is Facebook Improv Trick. And then I also replay them on the Live Jive page. So if they just look for Live Jive, they can see reruns and probably things that'll tag them back to the very original if they can't find me any other way.
Well, I'll add all of this to the video. I'll put all this down. Always fun, my friend. Super easy. It's always a blast playing with you.
You too. Thanks for having me.
All right. See you, buddy.
Peace.